Most people feel the need to explain themselves all the time. They justify their decisions, defend their actions, and try to make sure everyone understands them. They think that if people don't get them, they have to talk more, prove more, and convince more. But here's the truth. The more you explain yourself, the more you give away control. Because when you constantly seek understanding, you're also seeking approval. A Sigma male doesn't move like that. He doesn't feel the need to explain every choice he makes or every direction he takes. Not because he's hiding something, but because he's clear about who he is. He knows his values, his goals, and his boundaries. And when you're that clear, you don't need to justify yourself to everyone. He lets people think what they want. He lets actions speak instead of words. And that creates a different kind of power. Because when you stop explaining yourself, you stop depending on how others see you. You move with confidence, not validation. You make decisions without hesitation, and you stay focused without distractions. That doesn't mean he never communicates. It means he communicates with purpose. He speaks when it matters, and stays silent when it doesn't. And that's the difference. Because while most people try to be understood, he focuses on being aligned with himself. He is clear about her values. Most people feel the need to explain themselves because they are not fully clear about who they are. They change depending on the situation, adjust based on who they are around, and look for approval to confirm they are doing the right thing. That's why they keep explaining, justifying, and trying to be understood. But a Sigma male doesn't have that confusion. He knows exactly what he stands for, what he accepts, and what he refuses. His values are not based on opinions, trends, or pressure from others. They are built internally. And once you reach that level of clarity, you don't feel the need to explain every decision you make. You don't argue to prove your point, and you don't waste time convincing people who are not aligned with you. A Sigma male makes his choices based on his standards, not on how others might react. If someone understands, that's fine. If they don't, he still moves the same way, because his direction doesn't depend on external validation, it comes from within. And that's what gives him confidence. Not loud confidence that needs attention, but a quiet certainty that doesn't need explanation. He doesn't seek approval. Most people make decisions based on how others will react. They think before acting, not about what is right for them, but about what will be accepted, liked, or approved. And because of that, they constantly adjust themselves. They explain their choices, defend their actions, and try to make sure everyone agrees with them. Over time, this creates a mindset where confidence depends on external validation. If people approve, they feel right. If not, they start doubting themselves. A Sigma male breaks that completely. He doesn't move to impress, and he doesn't need people to agree with him to feel confident. His decisions come from his own standards, not from opinions around him. This changes how he behaves. He doesn't over-explain, he doesn't justify every move, and he doesn't seek reassurance. If someone understands him, that's fine. If they don't, he keeps moving anyway. Because his direction is not controlled by approval, it's controlled by clarity. And once you stop needing validation, you stop explaining yourself. Because you already know why you're doing what you're doing. He lets actions speak for him. Most people try to prove themselves with words. They explain their plans, talk about what they're going to do, and justify their decisions so others can understand them. They believe that the more they speak, the more credible they appear. But a Sigma male doesn't rely on words to show his value. He focuses on action. Instead of explaining what he's going to do, he simply does it. Instead of convincing people, he lets results speak. Because he understands that words can be doubted, ignored, or misunderstood, but actions are clear. This creates a different kind of presence. He doesn't need to argue to prove he's right, and he doesn't need to explain his direction. Over time, what he does becomes visible. His consistency, his discipline, and his results speak louder than anything he could say. A Sigma male knows that talking too much often weakens your position. It creates expectations and invites unnecessary opinions. But when you stay focused on action, you remove all of that. People don't need explanations, they see the outcome. And that's why he stays quiet and lets his actions define him. He avoids unnecessary arguments. Most people feel the need to defend themselves in every situation. If someone disagrees with them, questions them, or misunderstands them, they immediately try to explain, argue, and prove their point. They think that winning the argument means winning the situation. But in reality, most arguments don't lead to understanding, they lead to wasted energy. A Sigma male sees this clearly. He doesn't feel the need to respond to everything. If a conversation has no value, no purpose, or no chance of real understanding, he simply doesn't engage. Not because he can't defend himself, but because he chooses not to. This is control, because arguing with someone who is not willing to understand doesn't change anything. It only drains your focus, your energy, and your time. A Sigma male knows that not every opinion deserves a response, and not every misunderstanding needs to be corrected. So instead of trying to prove himself, he steps back. He lets people think what they want, and he keeps moving, because his goal is not to win arguments, it's to stay focused on what actually matters. He protects his energy and focus. Most people don't realize how much energy they waste just trying to explain themselves. Every time they justify their actions, defend their choices, or try to make others understand them, are giving away time and mental energy that could be used for something more important. Over time, this constant need to explain creates distraction, stress, and loss of focus. A Sigma male understands that his energy is limited, and that's why he protects it. He doesn't engage in long explanations that lead nowhere, and he doesn't feel responsible for making everyone understand his decisions. If something needs to be said, he says it clearly and briefly. If not, he stays silent. This allows him to keep his mind clear and his focus strong. While others are busy explaining and reacting, he is using that same energy to build, improve, and move forward. And that difference becomes visible over time. Because when you stop wasting energy on things that don't matter, you have more of it for things that do. A Sigma male doesn't try to control how people see him, he controls where his energy goes. And once you master that, you stop explaining yourself, because your focus becomes more important than their opinion. At the end of the day, a Sigma male doesn't explain himself because he doesn't need to. He knows who he is, what he stands for, and where he's going. While others are busy trying to be understood, he's focused on staying aligned with his own path. He doesn't waste energy on opinions, arguments, or validation. He moves with clarity and lets his actions speak for him. And that's what makes his presence different. Quiet, but strong. Simple, but controlled. If this made you see things differently, make sure you subscribe for more content on mindset and psychology. Now ask yourself, are you trying to be understood, or are you focused on becoming who you need to be?